The fundamental problem that we are seeing, and certainly governments are seeing, is that they are being hamstrung and they are being demoralized by the evolution of the Charter. And we talked about, I mean, you mentioned the housing case. I mean, we saw a case in Waterloo, Ontario recently, where the court held that the region of Waterloo, even though the land was owned by Waterloo region, could not take down or work with moving down a tent encampment based on the Charter Section 7 right to life, liberty, and security of the person. And basically the judge or the court held that that would hold until housing was available for every non-housed person. And so if that isn't, interference into the political realm and the parliamentary realm, the social policy realm, call it what you will, I don't know what is. And that's why we have a problem. And I think governments, I mean, whether they're trying to advocate for bail reform or bear spray regulations, they feel, and we have an epidemic of bear spray cases and attacks in Saskatchewan, they feel demoralized, hamstrung, and frankly, prevented in many cases from moving forward on policy, on legislation, on regulation. And so I think that obviously the balance is out of whack, and I mean, that's why the discussion is important. We often incur this idea that, why don't you just get along with the federal government? You're piling on the federal government, even on bail. I mean, when we say, listen, you've got to legislate in this space, you've got to do something, it's, easy there. I mean, provinces, stop piling on. And that's become a political narrative, but it's very unfair, I mean, to the provinces, because it's only through, fighting for things such as exclusive jurisdiction over natural resources, and Alberta and Saskatchewan, were very active in that all the way to the Supreme Court, for example, on Bill C-69, that it got anywhere. And so I really, and of course your work, but I think it's very important to continue to retain the purism and retain the facts and state them and restate them, because otherwise everything becomes much more under threat if you let those things go. Even on the evening news, you might get 10 minutes of two people going at it who were the prime players, not indirectly sort of talking about the prime players, but actually a debate. And I think that we now get sort of pablum for the people, as I've called it. I mean, it's tough out there in terms of people getting, real information. Into it, and I think there are some, very notable examples of what we're seeing in this country. I mean, as a starting point of perhaps where we shouldn't be going. One is the court challenges program in Canada, which, the Macdonald-Laurier Institute recently reported 96% of cases are Liberal causes, funded by the federal government, $27 million since 2017, revived under the federal Liberal government, and, funded 40 interveners to argue or help argue the carbon tax case on behalf of the government, close to home for Saskatchewan, of course. I think that's one example. Another, in terms of what maybe it should not become, is where we see international treaties being integrated into Canadian law, Canadian jurisprudence. I mean, keep in mind that a lot of these treaties are they're composed or they are come up with by unelected bodies. The UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, the UN Declaration on the Rights of the Child, and what we're seeing is the federal government increasingly entering into international treaties, demanding compliance from provinces in terms of adhering to them, even though for provinces they had really nothing to do with the entering into them. They will have a huge impact in some cases on social policy, on economic future. and in a way, that's becoming entrenched. So I think two examples where we're seeing in sort of common, instances out there of what it shouldn't be.